Hello everyone. It's been a hot minute. RMC back here for my first stream of the year. I know it's like what middle of the month already, 16th of January. So kind of late, but happy New Year, y'all. Since it's still January and it's my first stream, yeah, it's never too late. Okay, so first up, what are we here to talk about? We're here today to talk about the LTA split formats because the news has been drip fed to us for quite a while. I think the first article was back in October 31st. So yeah, that was a while ago, like 2 months, 2.5 months ago. And that's when they first started talking about the LTA, the merger, and all that sort of stuff. And we knew it was coming. They talked about it. And they were talking about the formats. And back then, like I had certain impressions about the format. And since then, we've got more and more and more information. Unfortunately for me, it seems that my memory is incorrect because I was like, oh, straightforward, But when I actually looked at the format here, I suddenly realized that, first of all, there's a lot of things I didn't think about. And it came up during some of the podcasts I was doing on League Rundown and Gringos Liberados. The fact that we've got best of ones, which first of all, I want to confirm if we actually have best of ones here, because that's kind of crazy. Also, the fact that theoretically, this split is only 5 weeks long. Well, not theoretically, it is only 5 weeks long. And it's worth noting that every region has a different format for Split 1. First Stand will be a tournament for everybody, but the LTA format is different from the LEC format, which is different from the LCK format, which is different from the LPL format, which is different from the LPC format. So in the LTA format, we've got 5 weeks. We had the last league to start. And out of the 5 weeks, only 3 weeks, or actually not even 3 weeks, 5 days is regular season. And then we've got like 4 days or 2 weeks of playoffs, which is cross conference, which will be held in Sao Paulo. So this is interesting too, because if it's only 3 weeks or 5 days, our season's incredibly short. Theoretically, out of the 8 teams, or not, I keep saying theoretically, it's not theoretical. Mathematically, out of the 8 teams, 2 of them will be eliminated after 2 matches, 2 best of 3s. And that's kind of crazy. You could be eliminated after 4 games total, and that's your entire split gone. Like in the worst case scenario. So yeah, it's a lot to think about. So originally I was just kind of going to talk about the ramifications of what it means for our split and stuff like that. But I have decided instead to kind of go back through the news, through everything, to reconfirm all the information to make sure that I've got this information right. I've also seen some confusion about the MSI thing because First Stand, we've now been told that the winner of First Stand, excuse me, gets seeded into MSI. But does this mean, as far as I know, for MSI, I think it was like what, two teams per region, or is it, or does the winner get 3 teams? So yeah, those will be some things we kind of look at as well. I guess technically that's under MSI, but yeah, this all started because the format's kind of weird here, and we'll get into that. First off, the article that came out in October 31st, just listing the teams, I think, yada, yada, provisional teams. So first thing to note, provisional teams, or not provisional teams, the guest teams are for the entire year. You'll play through all 3 splits, which makes sense. The format's kind of weird. Okay, so format, this is where it kind of matters, right? So we're told that the point is to spark new rivalries, showcase revamped formats, which I think is kind of weird in the first place. This revamped format is kind of weird. Like, you're literally making a split, or you're revamping the format for the sake of revamping the format, which is okay. And I find that especially weird when we don't know if full Fearless is going to be used in split 2 and 3. I don't think they've actually confirmed that. I think most of us just assumed that was going to be the case, but I don't actually know if that's completely true. So you get 4 South versus 4 North for playoffs. Let's see. It's double Elim, BO3, regular season, in own conference. And ooh, what happened here? Ooh. And then playoffs is single Elim. Kind of annoying. Then grand finals is DO5 into first stand, which makes sense. And then first stand itself, obviously, actually not obviously, because I don't think they talk about first stand in this article. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this in a reasonable format. We'll just follow and fill in this with the articles and then kind of go from there. Okay. Split 2 is supposed to be about sharpening skills, developing strategies, aka best team. Old format. So arguably the existing formats was probably the best competitive formats. I know that there's like some people who don't like round robins and stuff like that, but round robin at least means that you get to face every single team, and on average should give you the best results. Whether it's best of 1, best of 2, round single round versus double round, that's a whole different thing. But the idea was that in a league you've got the round robin phase followed by eliminations and playoffs. I think that's generally considered the most fair and best way to actually stage a league or tournament. So split 2 is basically kind of back to that again. Double round robin, best of 1, top 6 into playoffs. Then playoffs itself is double elim. There's no cross conference at all for split 2. So interestingly, for LTA specifically, this means that this is just straight up old school, right? Like this is just LCS versus CB LoL in a way, or not even LCS versus CB LoL. It's just LCS and it's just CB LoL. Like basically, for all intents and purposes, no cross conference or LCS / CB LoL. Like we're 2 different regions almost, which is fine. I think a lot of people are happier with this in a way. Okay, the third split is an interesting one because it's pick and play, and I believe the point is to be okay. They don't say it's the point, but I believe the point of this is just to be most entertaining and just narrative driven, because of the way the teams are going to get to pick this. So back to best of 3 format in regular season. Each week teams will select their opponents for the following week. Live on stage. Teams pick their opponents. Okay, can I also just say this about the articles? So this is a written article by LoL Esports. What I find really kind of weird is that despite the fact it's a written article, they actually pack more information into the videos. So we have to watch the videos to get all the information. Like the way the bracket turns out, who gets to pick and stuff like that, that's not written here, right? They just write that. Okay, I guess they do. Never mind. I didn't read carefully enough. The match. Okay, worst match. Yeah. Okay. I just find it kind of weird that they've got certain graphics in here about the splits that they don't put in the article, and that's why we're gonna have to read the article and watch the video as well to make sure we don't miss anything. I will be watching videos at 1.5 though. Higher seeds pick. Standing serve as tiebreakers. 3 weeks. Oh, okay, wait. So back to 3. First 3 weeks. Actually, so okay. Higher seed picks in the first 3 weeks. No elimination. So starting week 4, the last 3 weeks is elimination. Why did it say higher rank to choose their opponent? Teams with worse. Oh, other way around. Okay, so lower seed picks. Picks. by the end of regular season. Like 3 teams. Then we cross conference again. I'm actually curious. Do they have the format for? Oh, they do have the potential formats here on Wikipedia. Nice. No, they don't have the formats. Never mind. Just got the teams. That's fine. Okay. In preparation, but they don't quite have the formats yet. That's okay. That's fine. And final slot for world first ever. So what's interesting? Whoops. What's interesting to me is that this split 3 is the only one. Actually, let's put this at the top because I think that's kind of important. Only split with LTA trophy. Like, they don't talk about LTA trophy in first split or second split, which makes sense. Second split is cross conference, so there's nothing there. And first split, yeah, I don't think it's fair for first split. And we'll talk about this because of how, I think, short and or long that it kind of is. Do we have dates on this? No, we don't. Yeah, hopefully in the videos it talks about how long each split will be, because that's kind of crazy. And the winner gets a spot. How many teams? How does World 2025 work? 3-3-3. Okay. Best ranked team, regional champion. Okay, so I wonder if they talk about this later. You know what? Let's just see what the articles give us first, and then we'll double check back to that. Yeah, I'm checking to see, like, I vaguely remember them saying at some point that Brazil gets 1 guaranteed seed at Worlds. North America gets guaranteed 1 seed. And then I think the LTA champion is just the last seed here. I just need to double check that. I don't remember if it's in the articles. Yeah, because there's final slots at Worlds, so yeah. Yeah. So Worlds. And then LTA champion. Okay. So that's this article. Now let's watch the video and see if they give us more information. Background sound, turn on sound here.
Let's get into the league and its conferences. The LTA is made up of 2 conferences playing in front of live audiences in the Riot Games arenas. The North competing in Los Angeles, and the South competing in Sao Paulo. The North will be made up of Cloud9.
Okay, don't care about the teams, give me the format.
But we're adding flexibility by allowing 1 from outside.
Okay, about residency,
just America's qualifier for the new international event and all about hype. New season, new rivalries, and new formats. Teams will start within their own conference in a double elimination, best of 3 full fearless tournament until the top 4 are selected. In 2025, the top 4 from the North will fly down to Brazil to battle the South in a single elimination top 8, best of 3 full are selected.
Okay, so
in 2025,
first off, I'm not seeing any sort of like best of 3 or whatever, which kind of matters. So double elim, just get knocked down, play. Okay, that's fine.
The top 4 from the North will fly down to Brazil to battle the South in a single elimination top 8, best of 3 full fearless tournament. The finals will be a best of 5, and the winner goes to the new international event. Split 2 is all about learning and improvement within their own conference.
Okay.
Teams play double round.
So just to be clear, what I'm kind of watching for right now is I'm trying to figure out this best of 1 bit. I think everything else made sense to me until we hit the best of 1 portion. And I didn't, there's nothing in that video talking about best of 1. It just talks about advancing to next bracket. Like, basically you secure your seed. But I guess it makes sense they needed some sort of tiebreaker to figure out the seeding, because here you've got North 1 versus South 4. So you do need to have first seeds to 4th seeds, and you do need to sort that out. So, okay.
Best of 1. Playoffs will be a top 6 best of 5 double
this is split 2.
The winner of each conference will be crowned conference champion and LTA representative.
Okay, which is the format we're all kind of familiar with. Where it looks like specified double
elimination bracket. The winner of each conference will be crowned conference champion.
Okay, so it's not, it doesn't look like a pure, the playoffs don't look like a pure double elim. And what I mean by that is not all 6 teams start. Your first to 4th seed is double elim. And I mean, this is what CBLOL used to run anyways, right? So there's nothing crazy here. 5th and 6th seed only have 1 life. Because it looks like they start in the lower bracket right from the get-go. Okay, which again, we're very familiar with. We used to do this in CBLOL all the time.
And LTA representatives at MSI. Split 3 is an all-new, never-before-seen league format we are calling the pick-and-play system, where at the end of the week, teams will make selections of opponents for the next week live on stage. The focus is on competition and teams calling their shot. Here's how it works. Week 1 will have best of 3s based on Split 2's ranking. At the end of the week, teams with the lowest match and game records will choose opponents with better records. You can't challenge someone you already played before, and Split 2 standings work as tiebreakers. This forces teams to always pick a better opponent to prove themselves against. After week 3, we enter the elimination stage. The bottom 4 teams fight to stay alive, while top teams are safe. Here, the selection flips, so the teams with a better record will pick their opponent from these groupings. At the end of week 6, only 3 teams will be left standing. The top 3 southern teams will fly to the north to compete in the Americas regional
typing and I kind of missed that.
Nations they already played before, and Split 2 standings work as tiebreakers. This forces teams to always pick a better opponent to prove themselves against. After week 3, we enter the elimination stage. The bottom 4
Okay, so it's interesting that Pastry says that
this forces teams
to always pick a better opponent to prove themselves against. I kind of disagree with this. Based on this format, funnily enough, I actually think there could be times. And you know what? We'll talk about this later. Let's get the format down, and then we'll talk about the implications of each split. Honestly, I'm going to be right now. You can already tell split 2 is going to be the one we talk about the least.
After week 3, we enter the elimination stage. The bottom 4 teams fight to stay alive, while top teams are safe. Here, the selection flips, so the teams with a better record will pick their opponent from these groupings. At the end of week 6, only 3 teams will be left standing.
Okay. Yeah, we'll hold on to this for now.
The top 3 southern teams will fly to the north to compete in the Americas Regional Championship. All 6 teams will be battling for the first.
Okay, so then we hit the double elim stage. Or is this double elim? No, it's not double elim, is it? Hold on. Did this article talk? Dang nabbit. Did the article talk about the playoffs? Elimination stages. They'll just travel to the north. That's it. Okay, so this article doesn't talk at all about the playoffs, which is kind of important. This is the playoffs, right? So what happens here? This is A1. Okay, so loser from here goes here. Winner goes here. Oh, so this is not double elim either, technically. Not technically double elim. Only first seed. Okay, yeah, interesting. So you get second seed versus third seeds. Second seed versus third seed. Cross conference. First seeds face off. And then it's just single elim lower bracket. Okay, and best of 5s all the way. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so very, very different format. Not a lot. Yeah, this year's going to be very punishing, actually. Okay.
Ever LTA trophy. The top seed from each conference is already qualified for World, while the others will fight for the last World seed.
Yep, okay, so they clarify in the video.
The 2 Americas playoffs will flip every year. So in 2025, Split 1 will happen in Brazil, and the Americas Regional Championship will be held in North America. This means in 2026, Split 1 will be in NA, and Split 3 will be in Brazil. And our vision for the following years is to take our shows.
Okay, so we're flipping.
There will also be in-person viewing opportunities for fans when the finals are in the other conference. During the Stockholm website, what's in format, giving you match information.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this video open because we'll refer to this for some of the format stuff shortly, or not shortly when we discuss like the implications. Okay, first time tournament. Basically, gonna be full fearless, which by the way is a change as well. We've spoken about this before. I talked about this in GL. Gringos Librados. The fact that full fearless is not what NA and CBLOL Academy played with, or an LLA played with, or LLA Academy. Well, I forget what they're called. They are here too. Yeah, but basically it's not what we saw in America's last split. We saw modified fearless, which had a maximum of 30 champions. 30 champions? Yeah, 30 champions I think banned was like the max in a way. Or was it 30? Yeah, something like that. But we didn't see 50 champions banned by game 5. Or was it 40 max? But yeah, basically there's even more bans. And it's important because game 5 in Modify, it meant that you couldn't ban. So whatever pocket picks were banned the entire series was now open and available. That's not true in full fearless. You can keep the permaban going now. So there will be champions that we will not see through the entire 5-game series. Okay, typical. Making no repeats. Yada yada yada. Wait, did they not talk about how many teams are in? Okay, this is annoying. Highly anticipated. Difficult 10 bands. Okay, so they don't actually state here. I'm praying they state later because, yeah, right there, my frustration right now that I'm having is that they are not. They don't say how many teams are in MSI. Like, I know there are 5 teams. I know every region is sending 1 team, but I was not for MSI for Stan. Like they. Okay, they don't state that in this article. Maybe it's in a different article. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. MSI is 10 teams, 2 from each region. Okay, so this means that the winner of first stand just gets a bye. Gets buys effectively, which doesn't make sense either. Okay, you see, this is why instead of doing a refresher, it's like I feel like I'm learning everything again because I have to double check certain things. Like there were just certain assumptions I made because this article came out when November 1st, right? So we had the first article was like October 31st is November 1st. We're like 2 months out, and evidently I made some assumptions, and I'm not sure what's assumption and what is actual announced fact. So, okay, Worlds, pass the torch. Okay, they don't talk about how many teams are going to Worlds. That's fine. Whatever. That article was kind of pointless. Okay, this is January 8th, and I guess this is where they fill in more information. Okay, first time tournament, top teams, 2 distinct stages. BO3 round robin. BO5 elimination. Top 4. Top 4 teams, single elim. We're eliminating 1 team. Okay. This is a pretty fair tournament style, actually. I kind of like it. In general, I like it when you get a round robin into an elimination. And just to only eliminate the bottom team, I think is what round robin is best. You could argue that the best team in the round robin is not the best team in the league or best team in the tournament, but it's hard to argue that the worst team in the round robin a lot of times will often end like 0 or 1 win. Like they will usually be significantly the worst, or like 2 teams will be significantly the worst, and maybe they'll be battling out. But it's hard to argue that whoever gets eliminated, if you're only eliminating 1 team, does not deserve to get eliminated. Moving on. Site selection, round robin, random. Oh wait, if each series, 2 series. What does this mean? Game 1. That's it's randomly predetermined in 2 series. Okay, so it's not full random. 2 randomed. So it sounds like 2 are going to be randomed, and then the other 2 will be just opposite, I guess. Okay, so that's kind of fair-ish. Knockout, single elimination, best of 5. Seeding, setting, yes, seeding from round robin stage. Okay. Okay, and this has a video attached to it as well. Nope, it does not. Hold on. Oof. Ah, my eyes. Sorry. It's a plugin I use to dark mode stuff. That's why my Google Doc is in dark mode. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at this after. I don't think we'll need it, but just to be sure. MSI, 2 teams from each region. Okay, that's where it gets listed. Wait, hold up. Okay. So it's not 10 teams. 2 teams from each region, as well as an additional world slot for the 2 best performing regions. So 12 teams, or is this 13 teams? Because wait, did they talk about the winner of this? Yeah, winning will earn a second buy for their region. Ooh, hold up. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that it's still 2 teams per region from the state from the way it's stated. Because that if they get an extra slot, that would make 13 teams, which would be weird. So I'm assuming it's just 13. So it's 2 from each region plus top 2. Top 2 regions from last year's Worlds. And what's critical to note is actually the word regions here. So even if it is a Korea versus Korea final, I don't think they're going to give Korea 2 slots. So it'll probably be like whichever region did next best. And I don't know how they're going to calculate that if we end up with like 3 Korean teams at the end or 4 Korean teams at the end, something like that, where like one region just crushes and dominates. I guess the idea is that shouldn't happen. So yeah. Winner of MSI. Wait, hold. Wait, no. Sorry, I think I'm completely misunderstanding this. I'm very, very confused. 2 teams from each of the 5 regions will battle for, as well as an additional world slot. So no. Did I just completely misunderstand this? I think I did. It's 10 teams. It's just straight up 10 teams. Do they have a format for this? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh man, English is a confusing language at times. So the prize is an additional world slot. Okay. Winner and runner up. Wait, no, because there's 10 teams. You could be 2 teams from the same region. Okay, so top 2. Yeah. Okay, and I guess they will share the format closer to the date. It just specifies. Okay, so I'm guessing it's just 10 teams, period. I'm just trying to think how this format would work. We know that the top team gets a bye, winner gets a bye. So 5 teams. So from the word second, okay, here we go. So these are assumptions now. So we're talking about earning a second bye. This suggests that every region has a first bye. And then they're also now saying that the entire thing, each match will be a VO5. I don't know how this format's going to work. If everything is best of 5, I wonder if it's like double elim bracket. Oops, wrong thing. Where you get, but you get 5 teams. Oh no, okay. Wait, no, that makes no sense because. So assuming that every region has a first bye, that means will be 6 teams with a bye. 4 teams, no bye. So then, okay, if you got. Oh, okay. I think I see how the bracket's gonna work. Because generally, if you're doing, I'm assuming. So this will be elimination bracket. If we're talking buys, it should be elimination bracket. There shouldn't be a round robin buy. That makes no sense. There are 2 ways it could work. Is either we have a 4 pool round robin with 2 promoting up into an 8 into sort of an 8 team elimination bracket, or it could be something like another bracket here. Okay, I hope it's this, the round robin into this, rather than like just tacking on the 4 teams into somewhere to play. Because if you're trying to do it with just like the random 4 teams being chucked in, I don't know how you decide who actually has to face those 4 teams. And if it's randomized, I'm not super happy with that, considering that the second stage is supposed to be all about first stand. So my guess is a 4 team, 4 second seeds, round robin, double or single, either's fine, into 8 team elimination. Now, the interesting thing will be whether or not this is double or single elim. Double elim's always better, but, and if the whole point of, whoops, wait, hold up. Did I do this right? No. Popped in the wrong spot. Actually, wait, no. So if they're saying all games are BO5, this cannot be true. Wait, scratch that then. Okay. So instead, it's probably going to be a 12 team elimination. So it's 8 team elimination. If it's single elim, then actually it doesn't matter if it's single or double elim. Sorry, I was just thinking if it's single elim, it's that weird sort of, oh hello, my font changed color. I must have misclicked something. If it's single elim, it's gonna look like this. Where you just get it tacked on, and these will be the second seeds, basically, on both sides, kind of battling their way up. And then, again, that means it's going to be randomized. I really don't like that. Or they seed from first stand, but they didn't mention that, so I suspect it'll be randomized. We're probably not going to see round robin because they did say best of 5. Alternatively, it's sort of the double elim bracket where your 4 bottom teams. Or okay, you've got. Well, no, because you've got 6 teams starting up here. Yeah, I'm trying to think how double elim would have 4 down here already. Then forward, loser drops. And then you got some weird number out here. So yeah. Could you do it double elim with a lower bracket where the second seeds are starting in the lower bracket? Yes. Alternatively that, or even these guys get kind of potentially a second life where they can get knocked into a lower bracket, maybe. I don't know. The numbers don't add up nicely if we do double elim. Just because the top bracket is 6 teams. So I'm gonna guess it's a single elim. Yeah, just for competitive integrity, I just think it's gonna be really difficult to figure out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, that's my guess for formatting for MSI. Worlds elimination 17 teams. Teams total. 3 slots per region. Slot to MSI region. 1 slot. Okay. And that's it. They don't give any other information about Worlds format, which is fine. I think that's fair. Worlds is a whiles away. There's literally two splits to get through. And yeah, okay, that makes sense. So it's 17 teams total. That's going to be another weird format. I'm very curious to see how they do this. Again, round robin, perhaps. Anytime you've got an odd amount of teams, I feel like round robin is probably the best way to go. And
Get ready for Lolly Sports' new international competition, First Stand Tournament.
that's weird that they kept my volume, but not my game
The first
speed.
split of
Or my
2025,
video
one
speed,
team from
sorry.
each of the 5 regions will travel to Seoul, South Korea to duke it out in Lolpark for a week of action. At FST, pros will have a chance to forge their own path to victory, whether it be through brute force, elite mental, sheer creativity, or depth mechanics, as their skills are tested like never before with Fearless Draft. The tournament begins with a best-of-3 round-robin stage where each team will play once against all other teams. In this stage, each team will start 2 matches with right of side selection and 2 without. At the end of the round-robin, the last team in the standings will be eliminated.
It's
in
right
round
of side
one. The remaining 4
selection.
teams will
Okay. I actually kind of like that better. So it's not too randomed right of side selection. No right. Okay.
will advance to the knockout stage, which will feature a single elimination best-of-5 bracket. The opening matches will pair the first seed against the 4th seed and the second seed against the 3rd seed. These teams will battle it out to reach the finals, where we will crown the very first winner of the First Stand Tournament, proving themselves to be the most versatile team in the world.
If it's gonna win us a game, of course.
The winning team will also secure a second bye for their region in MSI 2025, bypassing play-ins and advancing directly to the bracket stage. All of Winter Split Playoffs and First Stand will be played using full Fearless Draft mode. In full Fearless, any pick champions are banned for the remainder of the match. This means in Game 2, there'll be a total of 20.
Okay. So they did mention plan. So plans into elimination. Yeah. Okay.
Bans. 10 champions played in Game 1 and the 10 newly banned in Game 2. This trend continues throughout the series, and by Game 5, a total of 50 champions will be unavailable to play. Teams will be pushed to delve deeper into their champion pools, making the draft increasingly challenging as the series progresses. This unlocks exciting opportunities for creativity and showcases versatile gameplay. You don't want to miss all of the action of the First Stand Tournament. Tune in from March 10 through 16 on lollysports.com.
Okay. So if it is, so first of all, this didn't really give us too much new information. The graphics are nice. Though this time I think the article did a good job explaining. That's kind of okay. The interesting thing that kind of wasn't mentioned in the thing was the play-ins into knockouts. So if we've got play-ins into knockouts, I'm just trying to think, and best of fives. What's the format at Worlds last? Okay, so it might just end up something like this, I guess. But it's up with 4 teams. So maybe they just draw and then... Yeah, so effectively it'll just become like that bracket we were talking about where... Like, what? Okay, well, wasn't quite the way I tried this the last time, but you get the idea. Yeah, so I think that this will kind of be the pseudo format, if anything. And maybe there's like a lower bracket run starting round 2. So basically, like the first match might be just straight up elimination, and then okay, so we can kind of just 8-team elimination. Right, so let's rephrase this. So I suspect it's going to be a 14 knockout, single elim, feed into play in. Sorry, not knockout. Seed knockout. Get into knockout, not really seeding because I don't think that affects the thing. And then you'll have a 8-team knockout. Given that it's a BO5, I suspect single elim. But possibly lower bracket, possibly double. It's just that if you do double elim, it's going to get very, very long. with how this format's going to run with best of fives every day, which you could. I mean, MSI. I don't know how much time they're allotting for MSI. I don't think they actually list that, so possible. Okay.
Address. If you're joining from the LATAM or Brazil community, it's
not
nice to meet
September.
you. I'm Mark Zimmerman, the LTA Commissioner. If you're from LA, we're already acquainted.
Olá pessoal, eu sou o Igor Correia, líder de produto e responsável pela LTA.
Hey, Igor!
E sejam bem-vindos à LTA 2025.
The LTA address is here to share all relevant information for fans at the start of the new season, as well as dive deeper into our goal. Take a moment to acknowledge how different 2025 is. It's no exaggeration to say that these are our 10 of the matchup games. If you missed the explainer video earlier, Split 1 is a high stakes right from the beginning with best of 3 conference play. It's the debut of Fearless Draft in Tier 1 for the Americas, meaning any champ played by either team is banned for the following games. Win 2 best of 3s to earn top 4 and advance to the America stage.
I think 484 said he did the subs for this
A
too.
LTA Sul dará aos nossos amigos do norte uma calorosa
Captions for
recepção
this.
ao sediar pela primeira
Let's
vez
go
a competição
484.
das conferências na nossa recém-reformada Riot Games Arena São Paulo. 4 times de cada conferência, frente a frente, em uma chave de eliminação.
I'm actually curious what the newly renovated arena
Fearless
looks
Draft,
like.
representará as Américas no novo torneio internacional, o First Stand.
Our goal with Split 1 is to start with a bang.
was already
The
so
advantage
hyped
is one of the
before.
coolest parts of the LTA, the cross-conference competition. We want to get to this North versus South rivalry quickly, but fairly, which is why we opted for this tournament approach. 2 key results for this split are fan satisfaction with Fearless and peak viewers during the North versus South clashes, indicating fan investment in these cross-conference moments. This will also allow us to test the conference's competitiveness before the clash at the end of the year. Split 2, kicking off on April 5th, returns to a traditional format that allows fans to see
I like the
multiple
idea of
times, fostering
that.
rivalries, fandom, and deeper connections to the stories and personalities that will define the LTA. As the
I think
inaugural
Marcy
year
has
brings
been
together
a
new audiences, players,
wonderful
organizations,
LCS
consistency in
commissioner.
Split 2 ensures opportunities to discover new talent and celebrate familiar faces, while Split 1 and 3
Like he's really explained the thinking behind it. I don't always agree with the decisions they make, but at least you can see the reason behind it.
Goals for the thrilling new competitive format in Split 3, while
I think
closely
that's
monitoring community
important.
conversations to make sure that we can make adjustments as needed. For LTA North fans, I'm excited to say that in 2025 we'll be sharing the utilization of secondary stages with VCT Americas. You'll see the face-off look again during conference level play,
Okay.
occasionally across the 3 splits.
So for LTA South people, y'all probably don't understand why this is even a thing. But the problem was in LCS with VCT starting up, teams got relegated to like the back room. This is like the back room, and it looked kind of bad at first. So the fact that now we're sharing with VCT is better because now both of us
Along with a
get
few
to
other
use the
scheduling
back room.
optimizations, this means we are able to eliminate gaps
not
during
like
conference stages.
League is
With all these
the
formats,
step
we
child
relook
of
at awards and
Riot
trophies.
again.
At a high level, our goal is to preserve the importance of historical achievements while providing opportunities to celebrate the new scope of the LTA. Check out the article for more details as it's a little too long for the video. Much like splits, we want awards and trophies that are unique and build across the year. The last team standing at the start of the year will be the Split 1 victor. Split 2 will crown
Okay, so this is an interesting thing. Split 1 victor. Just kind of like, okay, whatever. Split 2 will be conference champions.
conference champions, and Split 3 will have conference champions and the LTA champion.
Split 3 has both conference champion. And this becomes
After the
relevant
format
later.
talk, let's discuss some of the cool features coming your way in 2025. First up, some returning favorites. After the success of summer playoffs, Twitch subs are back for 2025 edition.
Okay,
Year
I
1,
don't-
and week 4. We think you'll love the LTA Melanoxus, who can say, Rocket and LATAM fans in Split 2, free to play fantasy offers at our
Okay,
podcast
I
in the
don't
LTA
care about
championship.
the
We'll also be having
things
some
added.
multiple times
I
sponsoring
just care
rivalry.
about the okay. So this was the LTA. Welcome to LTA article. Okay. think this in. Okay. I think at this point we can start talking about the implications and what it means and all that with the formatting. Because again, first off, like I think Kako has always been wonderful. He's been much more visible as well. Last year as the head of league, and I think Marcy as well. These two have been doing a fantastic job. Love to see Igor's getting some camera time as well. Yeah, and they are fully explaining things. Zach Elliott or Whoopley is a great guy, and I know he's been trying to explain a bit more for America's Tier 2. But Whoopley, please, NACL, we are all waiting for you to tell us what's happening here in Tier 2 North America. Yeah, okay. So I don't think we're getting too much more information. Actually, no, that's not true. This graphic is information. First of all, split one, first stand. This graphic is interesting because it tells us that effectively week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. The entire split is 5 weeks. And if you look at the dates, it's running inside 1 month. From start to finish, split 1 is 1 month. That's all we got. It's really, really, really short. What's even kind of more shocking is playoffs, and finals happen in 4 days. So out of 5 weeks, only 3 weeks are regular season. This is really, really, really tight. And if you think about it, you've got 8 teams who you're playing kind of elimination, elimination bracket. So this is what the bracket looks like, right? So you've got on day 1, you're gonna have to have these 2 teams face off, and assuming we're only gonna get 2 matches per day, because if you go to 3 matches, then we are playing potentially 9 games in a day, 6 to 9 games. Now, have we done it before? Yes. Viewership, however, tends to suffer. And split 1, I think it's super important to note this is not about competitive integrity. This is not about how good or it's not the best format for competitiveness. We're not necessarily looking for the best team. We're looking for entertainment. We're looking to kind of showcase new things. And Riot has already stated that is the goal with the whole split one. Spark new rivalries, showcase revamp formats. It's not about sharpening the skills and whatnot. So a lot of it's going to be about viewership, about entertainment. So let's say we do 2 per day, right? So day 1, we do 2 best of 3s. Day 2, we do 2 best of 3s. Day 3, we do 2 best of 3s. Day 4, we do 2 best of 3s. Day 5, we do 2 best of 3s. Oh, we have a problem here, folks. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only have 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And sure, on paper, this is fine. Why is this fine? Because at the end of day 4 and day 5, we have 4 teams. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we only need to get 4 teams, right? Because it's 4 teams from each conference are going to face off in the cross-conference playoffs. So on paper, that looks fine. So why on earth do we have these 2 best of ones? Or these 2 best of ones. What on earth is this? Well, problem comes in because they need to have another set of series. Yes, we've got 4 teams qualify out of here. We've already got 4 teams. But what we don't have is seeding. So we need to figure out seeding. Now, 2 of the teams will be coming out from the lower bracket. 2 of the teams will be coming out from the upper bracket. So in theory, we actually already have 1 and 2. Let's do it this way. 1 and 2, and we have 3 and 4. So what round 3 effectively is tiebreakers between these 2 teams. These 4 teams, pardon me. The 2 teams at 1 and 2 and the 2 teams at 3 and 4. That's what this best of 1 is. And nowhere in any of the articles did they say anything about a best of 1. To be fair. And I think that's what caught me off guard. And when I looked at this format, I was like, what are we looking at? Why are there suddenly best of 1s? I don't know if this is confirmed best of 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing this in the interest of time. We've already got the top 4 teams. We just need this for seeding. And again, we're not looking to be the most competitive, most accurate, most specific way of sorting out the teams. We're just trying to add a number to a team, 1 through 4. So right now on Leaguepedia, these matches, these best of 1s, round 3 is scheduled on the 2nd and the 9th. So it looks like these matches up here will be played on the 2nd, and then they'll play an extra match. So on that day, best of 3s means we can get anywhere from 2 to 6. Oh, sorry, not 2. 4 to 6 games per week. That means on the extra days, we'll have 5 to 7 games, which is perfectly fine, right? Because on average, this will be 6 games on average. And if we go 7, it's not the end of the world. That's not an issue. So I suspect that Leaguepedia might be right, and it might be a best of 1. I don't know if this is confirmed. I don't believe it's been confirmed anywhere that I can see or I know of, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're right. Either that, or they'll probably have to add a day. Let me just check the dates here. They could theoretically just do the 8th. I don't know why we're missing the 8th. That's an interesting one for me. Like if we just did the 8th and then tiebreakers in the 9th, I think we could do all best of 3s. But this is Riot. Whoops, my bad. But this is Riot like issued. So we are not doing the 8th of February. Is that a holiday? Let's just see. Is Feb 8th anything? It is the 39th day of the year. Okay, great. So yeah, there's no days of the year. Feb 8th, National Kite Flying Day, Iowa Day, Opera Day, Boy Scout Day. Global Movie, National Molasses Bar. That is a very, very specific day. Laugh and Get Rich Day. That sounds nice. Children's Mental Health. Unitas. Yeah, I don't know why there's no game on Feb 8th. If anybody knows, let me know. It works. Love the idea of a shorter tournament, but I hate the 2 best of 3 BS. Imagine. Yeah, exactly, right? So that's the next thing, right? That we just realized. This means that, yeah, you can get knocked out after 4 games. It's fully possible that you just get wiped out in 4 games, which is crazy. And we just come back. Think of teams like Loud, who take forever to gear up. You know, like they don't start playing till week 5 normally. Okay, even assuming it's like best of 1s, week 5 or week 4, like it takes them like 6 to 8 games to wake up. You get a maximum, the losing team will get a maximum of 6 games. That means when Loud is waking up, the tournament's already over for them, potentially. Again, I don't know if the current Loud or this iteration of Loud will take that long, but historically Loud, with Robo, Croc, Tinones, Root, and whatever revolving support they have, takes a long time to wake up. They're going to get wiped out incredibly quickly. And then we think of teams like Fluxu last year, and I think it was Liberty. Was it last year? Liberty? Who started off with like a winning streak. Those teams could qualify for cross-conference just because other teams aren't awake yet. So teams have to be on their A game right to start. Wolk's Root is not in Brazil yet? Okay, they have 1.5 weeks. Not gonna lie, that's actually kind of scary. The thought that Root's not in Brazil yet, because without Root, I honestly don't think Loud's gonna qualify as a top 4 T. Well, maybe I don't know. Visa issues, but he's been here for like 2 years now. Wait, 2 years? 1.5 years. His Brunsey was 2022. No, 2 years. Yeah. Mikal was playing for them in the scrims. Oh, buddy. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I don't usually talk patch notes because I'm not the best predictor of patch notes. But from everything I've heard and seen, it seems like that bot lane is not about skilling anymore. Bot lane is about getting control and skirmishing early and trying to secure like all the objectives, setting up for Atakan when it starts spawning later. Mikal, last we saw him, was a skilling AD carry. This is not the meta for him. If we were looking at like the Jinx Smolder meta, hell yeah, let's go Mikal. But I don't know right now. Okay, that's going to be spicy. And thanks for the update, Wokes, because I was not aware about that. Also, how are you doing, Wokes? Happy New Year. Glad to see you found the stream. Okay, yeah, so that's going to be kind of weird for a lot of what's happening in Split 1. And again, Split 1's not particularly competitive. Now, the other thing too is the fact that Split 1 Victor, and this came up in the Gringos to the Bros Rados podcast, what is the value of this? Because we don't actually get to see who's the best in Brazil. So you cross conference immediately. Sure, the winner is going to look good. But besides like number 1 in Americas, nothing else matters. You know what I mean? Like second, who cares? Third, who cares? And for Brazil specifically, because we love our team so much, like we like to look internally and say, okay, who's good in Brazil, who's bad in Brazil? Split 1's going to tell us nothing about that. Like I'm not going to see who's good and who's not. And if what you're telling me works and it's true, and Root doesn't even get his visa in time, literally, I'm not going to know much about them. Like the teams that get knocked out early, not going to matter. So yeah, I'm from a let's do it this way: pros and cons. Yeah. So far, cons are too short, too random. Okay, so this doesn't feel like a league, I guess is my problem. If I can encapsulate it that way. This feels like a tournament. Like a short 1 month tournament. Heck, Worlds runs longer than this. Yeah, so this is just like a random tournament. Teams are going to get knocked out. Minimum 4 games. It's the lose teams. And also, the draw is too random. But the other thing that I really don't like is the draw. This is completely randomized. We could potentially have things like Pain versus... Okay. Who's the second best team right now? I'm just going to say VKS because they came in second. I know they changed their roster, but this is just the point of an illustration, right? That they could draw bad luck. And then let's say Red over here. Versus, I don't know. It doesn't matter who the 4th team is. Let's say, this happens and then... Yeah, like, or so they get knocked down to elimination. So you could very well, my point is you could have VKS face Pain in round 1 and then face like the 3rd best team in round 2. Let's say Red because they were 3rd seed, right? Or other way around. It could be Red facing Pain and then having to face VKS and then Red's wiped out. But they would actually be the 3rd best team in Brazil. We wouldn't know because the format's too random. There's no seeding for the draw, folks. As far as I know, it is just straight up random draw. Let me see. Did they talk about draw anywhere? Okay. Oh, my browser. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so they just say there's a draw show. They didn't specify anything about how the draw is going to work, but generally speaking, I would assume there's no seeding if we're doing a draw show. Like, it's just what you get is what you get. I get this bigger. I can't even read this. Yeah. So, as far as I know, drawing is random. You could have third seed knocked out, first and second seed. Again, this would assume that somehow the second seed got knocked down and then kind of got screwed from there. But I mean, they could get knocked down in the second round. Who knows, right? It's just there's a lot of chances for a lot of things to go wrong. So because of that, yeah, that's not going to be competitive. And then, of course, the other big thing that I hate is this potential best of one. And again, I don't know if that's true, but potential BO1 for first versus second, third versus fourth is really screwy too, right? Yeah. To be fair, I think this is a bigger problem for LTA South because our third place team and second place team, I don't think are that far apart. So this could make a whole difference because LTA North, I think, is a very clear-cut top two. This is LTA South. And LTA North has a very clear top two in FlyQuest and TL. And then third, fourth is question mark, right? It could be C9, but C9 does random things. It could be 100 Thieves. I don't really trust them right now. It could be Shopify Rebellion. That's my personal hope that Shopify makes fourth and they face Pain, and I get my dream matchup of Bvoy and Seos playing against Brazil. Because I thought that should have been one of the best bot lanes, and Titan Curry is my other best bot lane. So those would be the two best bot lanes in Brazil, I think, in the last couple of years. I mean, there's Root Seos as well, I guess. That's not fair to Root and Seos. But I thought Bvoy was better than Root, personally. Even though he lost to Root and his Lucian got completely destroyed. Yeah, so those are all the cons. Ultimately, it can be summed up in not competitive. The format is not competitive. The stakes don't really matter. And there's not going to be an all-star. It doesn't matter. Now, pros to this. To be fair, and this is why I was praising Marxy, Kako, and Igor so much, was because they are very upfront about this. This is about entertainment. And it will be entertaining. I think this will be wild. Instant cross-conference just makes everything crazy. There's more chance for upsets. I think Atakan favors Brazil's aggressive playstyle. We like to fight. We like to skirmish. Atakan guarantees that we'll be fighting and skirmishing. So I think this, a lot of potential for upsets. And I am down for that. Full Fearless. I love Full Fearless as well. I've had this discussion before on some other streams with Lunar, especially because I know she hates Fearless in general. But Full Fearless means that we get to see more champions. And we get to see how good players are on other champions. You get to see pocket picks. And hey, Brazil, man, we've got Cibolao. We should have some pocket picks. We should know how to do that. Volks, your picks advance. Pain, Isurus, Furia, Red early into the meta. Red Furia. Yeah, do I spoiler? You know what? I'll spoiler a little bit. I am not too far off from you, Wilkes, for my rankings. The Gringos Liberados podcast this week was only half the podcast. The other half is our ranking podcast, which should come out later. Oh, Lunar's here too. Hey, Lunar. Did I summon you? Complain that you hate Fearless? That's true, though. I will give you that, Lunar. I was watching some of the LPL games. Their games are looking really sloppy, which I know a lot of people say, oh, LPL is like always overly scrappy. I disagree with that. I actually thought their meta was pretty good last year. This year, it does look bad. I feel like they don't know how to play with the feats of strength properly, but yeah. Yeah, I agree. Games are messy, for sure. I don't think it's full Fearless because China has experienced the full Fearless. I think it's more the meta, but we'll see. I do think the games are going to be kind of messy to start the season, but that's not a format issue. That's just meta. You watched? Oh, I haven't watched LCK yet. They just started, didn't they? Was it last night or this morning? I guess. Atakan is busted. You just cheat so much tempo. Well, yeah. The funny thing was, I can't remember which LPL game I saw where like they got Atakan and it felt like they didn't know how to play with it. It was kind of funny. I think teams will need to learn how to play. I'm actually a little bit worried that we're going to see that in Brazil too, where teams are going to get Atakan and not know how to push with it, and we're just going to wait for Atakan to spawn again or like whatever, and then fight again over Or not spawning it, but like we're just gonna wait for objectives and spawn over that. LCK started Wednesday. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I am a little bit behind the curve on LCK, unfortunately. So today was day 2. I will go catch on some of their VODs because I do need to. I don't really understand the meta. I actually played some games in Summoner's Rift and it was, yeah. Okay. My elo is too low, so I don't really see that big a change on stuff. I need to watch more competitive games for sure. And I'm hoping the LCK was a little bit cleaner. Like they knew what they were doing. Maybe question mark. I don't know if. Yeah, y'all watch LCK. Let me know if it's better than LPL to watch. Okay, so I do think that the format's going to be very, very entertaining. There's a lot of potentials for upset. And I like that it's short. Because it doesn't... It feels like a tournament, you know, rather than a full-on league. So it will just give us a taste of things. And how things are going to happen. I do really like the cross-conference immediately. So that we get to see the team, the region start blending right from the get-go. I think that's very, very necessary. Especially with the friction we had initially when this was announced. So I do think there are quite a lot of pros as well for how this is going to go. I disagree though with the whole high stakes play thing. I don't think this is high stakes. I kind of don't think it matters. So if we just take this as an entertainment product for Split 1, I'm perfectly fine with that. Same with First Stand as well. I don't think the First Stand tournament matters that much. Like sure, the buy is going to be good, I guess, but yeah, the stakes are just not high enough for me for First Stand. It's just too short in general. The meta is just scaling. There are too many ways to get into the game. That's interesting, Lunar, because I think right before you got here, I was just saying, because Wilkes had informed me that apparently Root is having visa issues, so Mikau has been scrimming with Loud. I thought the meta was the game was actually ending faster, rather than slower. Well, let me check gol.gg. Average game time? Oh no, things. My Chrome things are weird. LPO. Average game duration is 33, 34. What was it? Okay, that didn't work. Check this. Average game time. Season 14. LPO. Let's say summer playoffs. It's slower. Okay. Interesting. Huh. I thought it was feeling faster, but oh, it is, but everything's accelerated. Okay. True, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking at 80 carry picks as well, and I don't feel like the scaling 80 carries are doing too well. So, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess they're not mutually exclusive, that you can be in a scaling meta, but ironically, scaling 80 carries might not be good because, yeah, the way the game's accelerating, or the way the game's scaling means that if they hit it too late, it's a problem. 2 item carries. Exactly, yeah. It's a lot of 2 item carries, 80 carries. Volks, you're sad you want to see Sayos. Yeah, he's having visa issues as well. Zazel is starting for Shopify Rebellion. And that goes back to the whole, like, how short the thing is. Short is both a pro and con. Because short is entertaining. But short means that any visa issues, and they might as well not play. Right? Like, if Sayo's not showing up, screws Shopify Rebellion. Like, in week 1, and they get a bad draw in week 2, it's already over before Sayos can even get in there. Or even if Sayos gets in for week 2, he's going in cold with like very little actual live scrim practice with that team. So same thing with Root, right? So I'm praying that they get their visa issue short in time. If SR qualify though, they unlock Sayos. That's a big if, Lunar. That is a very, very big if. That Shopify Rebellion, we saw them with Zazel. I'm not going to say it's bad. I don't think Zazel's a bad support by any means. It's just, I don't know if it's enough to make top 4 in this faster thing. So yeah, that's kind of how like my view of First Stand goes. It's going to be incredibly short. Now, from a broadcast point of view as well, something we kind of didn't discuss. I don't know if you all are interested in this, but for us in the LTA South team, the unofficial broadcast, it means that we only cover these 3 weeks, by the way. Because when it hits playoffs, the LTA North guys will be having an official broadcast. So we'll probably do co-stream for these 2 weeks, I think. That's generally the thinking for now. We'll confirm it as we get closer to the date, but yeah. Yeah, we won't be casting over that because they actually have proper casting. which will be nice. I think that's good for Brazil that, you know, they'll have official eyes on them as well, even though it kind of sucks for us, fortunately. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. By the way, this I think is a joke. Most fearless player of the split doesn't mean a damn thing. I think this title means a lot more when players can pick whatever the hell they want, and then champion diversity matters more. Okay, split 2 has. Oh, what? I put this in the wrong place. There's split 1 Victor. The traditional all pros. And then this one has conference all pros, which I think is interesting. I don't know what the difference is between traditional and conference all pros. Each splits finals will also feature a finals MVP. Don't care about that. Yeah. I like us too, Lunar, but it is what it is. We didn't even get official broadcasts around. But yeah, like I said, we will probably do a co-stream or something, so that at least our impressions will still be there. And you can still do that. Am I co-streaming tier 2? So I definitely will not get, or not say definitely will not, but I am unlikely to get. I don't know. Basically, if I can get permissions, I will happily co-stream tier 2. I have set aside time to co-stream tier 2 for South America. And for North America, I don't know yet. I talked to Whoopi a little bit earlier this year, but I think I was like bugging him a bit too much. At the time when I spoke to him, they were still trying to sort things out in North America. So I don't know. Hey, I care about North America tier 2. Winsome's coming in from North America tier 2, man. Obviously, like, hey, there's something that Brazil thinks they can get from North America tier 2. But yeah, as long as I get permission, or if I'm not disallowed, I will be continuing to co-stream tier 2, or CD as it's now called. I tried to pronounce it and I butchered it, and until I get for to teach me properly how to say it, I'm not going to try and actually say it in Portuguese because I'm going to just sound terrible. Okay. Split 2 is the one I have the least to say about. This is just our traditional splits, right? Round robin, double round robin into elimination. It's super standard. This, I think, will be the one that matters probably most to a lot of the domestic people. Like in North America, this is what they'll care about. This is basically LCS. In Brazil, this is basically CB LOL. This is when we start looking at how the teams kind of really compete into each other. And this is when I think we're going to see a lot of changes in the standings. Split 1 standings are going to be super random. This means nothing. This means nothing to me competitively. Yeah, this is where everything matters. So this is the interesting one. MSI, we talked about the bracket. I think not double elim, but elimination all the way will be interesting. Best of 5 is kind of good too, because everybody gets experience. Both South and North will get one team each guaranteed into MSI. So that'll be good for Brazil. I like it. Remove BO1, still BO1. Wait, no, wait. Well, round robin. Okay, could round robin BO1s? To me, that's a time thing, especially if we're doing double round robin. I just don't see a world in which they can best of 3. It just takes way too long. Would I have preferred to see best of 3? Yes. Here's the kicker too, by the way. We aren't confirmed that playoffs will be full fearless. So even if we're doing like best of 3s, best of 5s, it might not be full fearless in playoffs. Nowhere, and I was checking for this, I don't think I saw anywhere that we're running full fearless in split 2. They just say playoff bracket. They just say knockouts. So I'm interested to see if there's full fearless or not in split 2. But yeah. I mean, trash BO1 Lunar, sure. But the way I look at the regular season is it's mostly just like get good, you know? Like you just kind of want more games under your belt. You can treat it as almost stage scrims. That's fine. MSI is not fearless. Is that confirmed? MSI is not fearless? I might have missed that somewhere.
Get ready for Lolly Sports.
Why is it max volume, bro? My ears. Bring us the content. Yes, folks. Yes, best of 3, 1v1 for side choice. That's what I was saying. And Luna, I saw your comments there. Like I didn't disagree with your comment about the fact that blue side would have high win rate. That's what I'm saying. They should 1v1 for blue side game 5. That would be spicy. Yeah, and I'm curious, did you see where it said MSI isn't fearless? Because I don't think I saw that anywhere in the articles. But a lot of stuff, like, it might be on Twitter or something, and I'm not going to troll through Twitter because it's a pain. Yeah, but I think Split 2 will probably get us the most accurate competitive games, but it's also the least entertaining to me. So, Bros, competitive. Best, well, I'm going to say potentially best quality games. Odds are it's going to be boring. Deal 1. Fearless. Wolks, do you think only first stands confirmed fearless? Yes, yeah. Yes, that's my understanding too, that the only one they've confirmed fearless so far is first stand. And then they just haven't said anything about MSI or Worlds. That I'm aware of. Maybe they said it wasn't. If MSI is not fearless, in a way, I think it's going to be the most boring of the tournaments, or from a viewer perspective. But from a competitive perspective, I mean, you'll get higher quality games because, so, I mean, fearless. Okay, so the pro of running fearless, and I'm sure Lunar will be more than happy to wax poetic about that, is that players basically get the championship asset. They get to play the small pool that they're experts at. They're not forced off to like sort of second tier, third tier, fourth tier picks coming through for the team. So technically your quality is better. So for people who are watching to see, like, I think it was Trajan or 404. I think it was Trajan who was saying it. Oh no, 404 who was saying it. One of them was saying that, I think it was Trajan. For the people who can appreciate 100% chase, this will be the split for them. But for the casual viewer, most casual viewers can't see the difference between 90% Jace and 100% Jace. Heck, they can't even see the difference between 75% Jace and 100% Jace. And if that's the case, then they will prefer split 1 and potentially split 3 compared to split 2. Like, that's where fearless makes the big difference. So, yeah, if you're a high level and you're looking at the high level stuff, then sure, you might say that fearless is bad. There are positives that it might not fit your preference, but I think to the average viewer, there's definitely benefits. I favor the strategic side of League more than I prefer macro to micro. So I actually really like fearless because it forces teams to switch up their macro. There are only so many champions who will do the same thing, right? And if those champions get taken off the game, then you have to change your playstyle. That said, I am fully aware that yes, we're seeing it a little bit in the LPL as well, that when you get forced off the champions you're good at, some players get kind of bad, and then the game isn't good at that point. So. See only BRJs versus Korean Jace folks. You know, it's funny because Trajan brought up that example, and I was like, bro, why did you have to pick Jace, man, when we're a Brazilian podcast, or when we're a podcast that covers Brazil? But to be fair, our Jace has gotten better over the years. To be fair. Lunar just play 5-man death ball every game. Hey, you know what? If teams would be willing to do that, I think I'd be more interested. Unfortunately, teams don't do that, and then we get freaking Azir Corki matchup game after game after game, and that's what makes me want to do fearless, because I hate Azir Corki. Even with the changes that came through for Corki, it's still a really boring matchup. Yeah, so I think all in all, this is just going to be the most standard one that we know. For the MSI format itself, I am not a fan of all games BO5. I think that's going to get kind of boring. And if we go double Elim, it's going to be so many games, man. I don't know how long that's going to take. We'll see how it goes. I assume, yeah, like single Elim early into double probably be better. Oh, true. Okay. There are some teams which do it, Lunar, and I appreciate those teams. Anyone is indeed legends for doing that. But even in Brazil, we don't have that many teams who just run 5-man death ball over and over and over again, unfortunately. Okay, split 3 to me is by far actually the most interesting split. We have info on split 3 here? Okay. Well, I should have used this. Yeah. So I talked about split 1 and why we might have the best of one sort of tiebreakers, which I think is terrible. I don't think it's competitive at all. I think it's the most freaking random thing to try and do. Then split 2 is just the boring stuff. Split 3, this is where it gets really, really, really spicy. And I am looking forward the most to split 3. Unfortunately, and split 3 is best of threes. Is back to best of threes, pardon me. So I'm hoping we do full fearless, because if we do full fearless in this format, I'm going to be a very, very happy minion. Split 1 is fun for the randomness. Exactly, yeah, that's it. It's not particularly competitive. It's not particularly strategic. It is literally random. And hey, you know what? Riot is now allowing gambling sponsors. So gamblers, split 1 is your split. Have fun. Anybody who doesn't like to gamble, do not touch split 1 with a 10-foot pole. Good luck trying to bet on that one. And I'm not just talking Brazil either. Even North America, it's screwy the first couple of weeks. So, okay, but split 3, super interesting. So week 1 is like, oh, hello. I don't know what is going on with my pen size and color. It just keeps randomly changing. There we go. Week 1, boring. First seed versus 8th seed. Whatever. But the format after that gets interesting because the lower seeded team gets to pick who they play in weeks 2 and weeks 3. So I like that a lot for multiple reasons. Leonard, after this, we'll talk fearless, but I wanted to get through split 3 because split 3 is what I'm most excited for. I love the fact that there's added strategic levels now in terms of who you're picking. Because if you're let's say you're the 7th seed, right? And you lose to 2nd seed, which is expected. And then you get to pick who you want to play after that among the sort of top 4 seeds, right? And you get to choose who you want to fight. And maybe there's some teams that are slow to start. Maybe there's some teams you have a better matchup against and you might want to pick them. Or maybe you want to, take out some of your hard matches early. Because one thing we have to remember is that once you play an opponent, you can't play them again. So if you're 8th seed and you play 1st, 2nd, and 3rd seed already, that means like later in the second half.
Here the selection flips.
Yeah, when you get to the second half, like they can't pick you. So you might have an easier, by facing like the hardest teams early, you might actually have a easier second half run in weeks 4 to week 6. I think that's kind of interesting. Now, obviously, you don't want to be in the bottom half because it's elimination based, but who you're picking isn't lowest seed the lower number. No, first seed is highest. So 8th seed is lowest number. And the lower your seeding, the lower your standings, the more you get to pick. Because the way it works is they look at your record, so the O1 teams get to pick. But in the event that you have multiple O1 teams, like you do in week 2, or like in week 3 you get O2 teams, it's whoever has the. Oh wait, no, I see what you mean. Okay, yes. Sorry, you're right. So yeah, it's tie broken by seeding. So fifth seed, assuming that all the higher seeds win, right? 5th seed will get to pick first. And then 6th seed gets to pick second, and so on and so forth. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, correct. The lower number seeding is the lower number, and they get to pick first in the event of a same standings situation. Right. Yeah, correct. You know what I mean? So getting basically 5th seed, for example, you could pick to play 4th seed. If you lose to 4th seed, you could pick 1st seed and 2nd seed. And then later on, you face like the 3rd seed and 3rd seed here, right? And then so on and so forth. So yeah, there's some interesting things to be done strategically with who you pick. And that's not even taking into account like matchups. Some teams just have good matchups. Like, for example, Pain, if this was Old Pain and Old Loud, for example, right? Like Loud, and somehow either Pain ends up in the bottom half, right? They might want to pick Loud early because Loud's slower to start, and also then you avoid them in the later weeks, or you reduce the chance of you playing them in later weeks. There are going to be certain scenarios where we might see repeat matches. That just happens. But basically, as long as you can, there will not be a repeat match as long as possible until there's no options. So, yeah. So I think that's really, really, really interesting. And I think it's really good for Trash Talk. I love hearing the thoughts of players because I remember there was one year too where, which year was it? It was one of the CBLOL playoffs where like the higher seeded team picked the better team. And I think it was like Loud or I can't remember who it was, but I remember it ended up like some weird situation for Pain. Was it pain picking for some weird situation for Loud or something like that? And we are like wondering, oh, are they doing it to screw them? And they were like, no, we thought the other team was better. Uh, like a better matchup, you know? And that's basically Split 3 in a nutshell, is going to be exactly that format. Yeah, it might have been 2020. I can't remember if it was like 2023 Split 1 or 2022 Split 2. I remember it was like, oh, no, sorry. It could have been 2023 Split 1 or Split 2. Yeah, I can't remember. But it wasn't 2024. It was before that. Yeah. But yeah, like that's basically the entire Split 3 now, where teams get to choose who they want to fight. And can you imagine, like, you pick a strong, like, if you have 5th seed, for example, and you decide, hey, you know, I'm 5th seed, and instead of picking like a weaker, if 5th seed wins, oh no, actually other way around. If 4th seed wins, for example, or loses, and then they get to pick their opponent, and instead of picking like a lower seeded, like 3rd seed or whatever, they go for like 1st seed, saying, oh, 1st seed is a weaker team, and they lose, right? Like that's going to be a lot of trash talk, a lot of narrative generated. So I really, really like this format. And even better, Wokes and Lunar, y'all will like this. It's not best of 1. These are all best of 3s. So again, I'm hoping this is full fearless best of 3s. That would be the dream. And then, yeah, we'd get into the elimination into this, which is also kind of interesting because this almost acts like a mini elimination bracket into an actual elimination bracket. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what's interesting for me now is when we do cross conference, this format is the Juggernaut format, except it's not double elim on the lower bracket anymore. Only 1st and 2nd seed get double elim. So yeah, it's Juggernaut bracket, as we mentioned. We've had this format, I think, 1 split or 1 year in CBLOL in the past. And I like it. What I do think is interesting, though, is Juggernauts are 1st seeds and then 2nd seed versus 3rd seed. So it could get kind of iffy. It also does guarantee that we at least get 1 Brazilian team up to B4. Guaranteed, because that's when A1 loses. So if LTA South wins, then we're guaranteed to winners finals. If LTA South loses, then we're guaranteed into at least B4. So yeah, and I think this bracket gives us a better idea of where exactly the regions stack up. Like if this ends up being a North American sweep, like this would be more accurate than what we got in Tier 1. What makes me question, though, is the awards, like Conference All Pros. So when they say Conference All Pros, I wonder, like, I assume this actually means North plus South compared to traditional All Pro, which I assume is like South and North are separate. I think that's going to be really, really interesting in terms of comparing All Pros. And I don't know how they're going to do this as well. That'll be interesting. So congratulations, W7M, on World's LTA first. You mean Pain Gaming Academy? They've got 4 people from Pain Gaming Academy on that roster because BP, their coach, was also the Pain Gaming Academy coach. Yeah, you heard it on the podcast if you watched it. I'm like kind of super hyped on W7M. I don't think they'll be a best team, but like I kind of wish they'll do really well. That'd be hilarious if they actually made it as one of the seeds to Worlds. I would laugh so incredibly hard. Even if Pain has to die to make that happen, I would actually just laugh. But yeah, so I like the format for Tier 3, for Split 3. I think that's the best. That's the one I'm looking most forward to, but we know the least about. So first split is going to be kind of rough. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We don't know for sure if this is going to be best of 1. I'm not super looking forward to the format, but it's going to be entertaining, and I think that's the focus that I'm gonna have. So hopefully that's cleared up the splits and the formats for all 3 splits. I learned a couple of things today. There were things that I had originally thought which are wrong or not confirmed yet, but we'll see how it goes for now. All in all, as an analyst, I am not super happy about the 3 splits. No, not just as an analyst. In general, I don't like 3 splits. I didn't like when the LEC did it. I'm not really a huge fan of it now that we're doing it across every single region. But as an analyst, I loathe split 1. I think that's a bad split. Get rid of it. But as a viewer, as a consumer of the League of Legends product, I understand why they're doing it, and I think the reasons are sound, and I'm hoping it works, because the more eyes on League of Legends as a whole, the better. And First Stand is a good way to get new people into the game, or into the esports side of it. Sorry, not into the game. But I think it's shorter, it's easier for people to get into. So Yeah, doubt the all pro voters will watch both conferences, maybe playoffs. Yeah, well, it depends, right? Like in the past, their all pro voters have been also like players, coaches, stuff like that. So players and coaches might watch the other region. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. From what I know of most of the LTA North pros, they probably don't watch LTA South that much. Maybe it'll change with first stand and stuff. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I that's a little bit of my concern, Wilkes, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, yeah, Lunar, like I said, as an analyst, like as a color caster, I'm kind of with you. I'm not a fan of first stand, but I see the benefits of it. I see the pros. There are a lot of pros, and league does need more money, right? Like that's why we're cutting broadcasts left and right now. That's why they're switching to co-streaming. It's a lot of it's about money, right? So if this helps us bring in more fans, then it is what it is. Just enjoy it as a like for fun sort of thing. And it could be chaotic. It could be funny. Who knows what's gonna happen? Okay, now that we're done this stuff, full fearless, Lunar. Let's talk it out because you seem to loathe full fearless so much. Look, I understand the cons you put forth. So if you want to type out the cons so that folks and whoever watches this after can see, your thoughts on full fearless. But you can't ignore the pros. Like full fearless forces pros to actually have to play something else. We get rid of some of the pairing matchups that happen. And full fearless especially doesn't have the problem that modified fearless have. Like we had the discussion about modified fearless when we were watching CBLOL Academy, and I agree with you. Game 5, blue side has such a massive advantage in modified fearless because there are no bans in game 5. So first pick becomes like omega strong. Huge props to Kate Stars for finding ways to actually break that idea and actually getting like omega great picks on the red side. But full fearless, you still get bans in game 5. So I don't think it's as busted for blue side as it is. Folks, you need extra full fearless. You imagine we take 100. So that will be 90 bans by game 5. We have 170. How many champions are there in League of Legends right now? I think it's 172. 170 flat. Okay. There are exactly 170 champions. So, oh my god. So 170 champions. That we'd have 90 champions banned. That would still leave us with 80 champions. You know what, folks? I'd be down for next year if they want to do like split 1, like Omega Fearless, even bans taken out. That would be super funny. I'd be okay with that for split 1, but no other split because that's not competitive at that point. So if it's banned, it stays banned. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd be down to see that, but only in split 1 as like a short joke. Well, not joke, but like as a short split where it's not like super high stakes, and we'd get to see games with like no 80 carries and stuff like that. I'd be down for that. That'd be kind of funny. I'd be okay with that. Okay, yeah, but overall, I'm not unhappy. I'm not like super upset with everything that's happened through. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'll take split 1 more chill, less analysis for sure. I think it's going to be very hard to analyze, and then we'll see how split 2, split 3 go. I really want to see full fearless in split 3. I would not hate for us to not have fearless in split 2 just for variety. I'm still I'm still a fan of fearless in general. So we have 3 splits of full fearless. I'm okay with that, but I also like variety. So split 2 MSI doesn't have full fearless. I'm okay with that as well. Like I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah, and then people like Lunar or people who enjoy just seeing like the highest levels of play, like the 100% Jace, 100% Fiora style players, will get to watch that during MSI as well. And then there's a little bit of something for everything, or something for everybody. So you can tell the difference between 100% something and 75% something. Great for you, Lunar. I dare not say I can tell the difference between 90 and 100, like between 75 and 90 maybe. But even then, I'm willing to sacrifice that 15% for entertainment. And also just to avoid things like Azir, Orky matchups, or like hyper farm matchups, like Smolder Jinx in the bot lane. Like, oh, just shoot me now. Get that out of here. I want to see some action. Okay, so that's it for today. It was honestly a longer stream than I thought it would be. I thought today would just be like an hour to just run through everything. But yeah, my brain's a bit slow, so it took me a bit longer to think about things. Now, Gringos Liberados just came out yesterday. The first half of Gringos Liberados. Spoiler. That was just half. Actually, wait. I think, did we say in the end of the video? I can't remember. There is going to be 100% Syndra is Knight, 75% is Showmaker, 85% Syndra is Yaga. I don't think Showmaker's only 75. I put him like 80, 85. I don't know. Okay, yeah, but there is going to be a second half, which is our power rankings that should be coming out next week. In addition to that, I'll also be streaming on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I think that will be probably before Gringos Liberados comes out, where I will be kind of talking about the rosters and my thoughts about the rosters. Like I gave a bit of summary, but I didn't have time to really break down into the rosters and my thoughts on them. I know I said some weird, like wild things. Like part of me feels like Payne's not going to win it. I know it's like not impossible. Like it's crazy for me to say that. Like not only because I'm Payne's actually, but also they are heads and shoulders better than I think almost any other team. Like fresh off the can. But I will talk about why I have those fears a little bit on Tuesday, because I think I'm starting with LTA South. Yeah, because I'm doing South first because the time zone's ahead. So I'll talk about that on Tuesday and Wednesday. Same time as today, which is 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll start the stream then, talk about that. So yeah, I didn't talk about folks. I didn't talk about the cross conference fantasy. Wait, what cross conference? Oh, like the fantasy draft? Yeah, I didn't talk about that because it's not happening yet. It's split to maybe soon TM, and I don't have really any details on it, so I'm waiting for them to confirm anything about that. I am somewhat excited for it, but I don't know enough about it to really talk about it, and part of me also suspects I don't know if we'll get it out in time for the two. Yeah. That's your commute time, Litter? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just that's like the best time for me to do the streams right now. I'm kind of busy with work, which is why I've been so quiet during the off season because my IRL work kind of got in the way. I actually had to go for a work trip over freaking Christmas, so wasn't super happy about that. Yeah, so like that time kind of works best. Well, you can just join when you do, but yeah, if not, then yeah, you can watch VOD or yeah. Wilkes usually on the fantasy. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, talking about the rosters kind of will give you my thoughts on. Like, it's not that far off from fantasy, I guess. No, actually, I take that back. It's very far off from fantasy. But hey, when fantasy comes out, I am definitely going to run a fantasy league in our CBLOL English community server, and then yeah, we can go in from there. I dare not say I will do well. I have not played a fantasy draft in a long time, actually. I think like 8 years, something like that. So yeah, but I'd definitely be interested. What I'm really waiting for is Project K, the trading card game. I want to get my hand on some of those cards. I want to, yeah. But anyways, okay, that's it for today. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for chatting and helping clarify some of my thoughts as well on the format. And I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Oh, don't forget, draw show is 2 days from now. So on the 18th. Draw show for both LTA North and South. The show matches might be interesting. I honestly don't know. But the draw show is going to be super, super important. And you can almost bet that there'll be some screaming happening when we see the drops come out. Yeah, I am fully expecting to see first seed versus second seed somewhere in one of those. But okay. Who cares about LEC, man, Lunar? I'm kidding. But at least watch the draw part of the show. I think that's more important than the LEC matchups. Okay, peace out, y'all. Have a good one. Bye. Just have it open on a second window, Lunar. or just keep tabs on it on Twitter. I'm sure people will react on Twitter as the draw show's happening. You know what? I will try and do it on. Oh crap! I think I may be working at the time. If I'm not working, I'll post on Twitter about what's happening in the draw show and my thoughts, maybe. Also, Wokes agree. Marvin better than Calist.